And it's something that I have the whole listening workshop that I bring to the companies. And it's really interesting that people who think they're good listeners actually need it the most.
Hey there, and welcome to a brand new episode of Delivering Marketing Joy. I am your host, Kirby Hassman. Joining me today is a brand new rock star. I'm super excited to dive into the topic today. I have a feeling I'm going to learn a lot. She's a CEO across 3 continents, an author, a TEDx speaker, and she's helping leaders have hard conversations that make or break both teams and deals. Anna Lecat, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you so much for inviting me.
Yeah, and I will tell you, when it comes to this topic, I think it's one of those things I struggle with. I want everybody to get along and be happy, and I know that that's not always how the world is. So I think most people are like me, and they avoid conflict, sometimes at all costs. So, what do you think the real price businesses and leaders pay when they keep dodging difficult conversations?
We pay more. We pay much more. It's very expensive to dodge difficult conversations because they pile up and then they blow up in our face, and we pay in real expenses. But also, what's most important for me is we pay in trust, because when we avoid a difficult conversation, we lose the trust with that person, and trust is something that's very expensive to gain back, to build back.
Yeah. Yeah, it's one of those things I understand, but then sometimes I still struggle to do it, right? Because, and I think, as a business grows, the stakes of that unresolved conflict sort of grow with it. So, like, what does the team tension that goes unaddressed actually look like inside of a company that's growing and scaling?
Yeah, it's really interesting to see, because when the company is growing really fast, what we see from outside is the speed of growth. They hire, right? There are big changes, but then the friction grows with it. And so people stop talking to each other. And where we see the problem occur first is that the most talented people stop speaking up. Our A players stop speaking up. And what we know with A players, if they do not feel comfortable, they do not feel heard, they do not feel that the culture is going to, it's the culture where they can really express themselves, they leave.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. And it's a little bit off because I feel like there's the kind of leader, Anna, that doesn't want to have the difficult conversation. Then I think sometimes there's the leader that is a little abrupt in their, taking on those difficult conversations. And do you think I'm curious to know what you think. Like, is there a better way to handle it? Or is it just like, no, there's a way to do this proper?
Well, first of all, let's just say it. We all avoid difficult conversations. It's something that we grow up with. This is something that we are taught. Most of the cultures, some cultures are a little bit less avoidant, some are more avoidant, but we are all avoidant, and we learn that this is how we express love, by not saying something that's uncomfortable for us, by not respecting our boundaries, but by not insisting on something, not bringing it up, right? And so leaders are the same. And with leaders, it's interesting to watch, because I work with so many leaders and I watch their style. There are usually going to be 3 styles. There is going to be an avoidant, a leader who will just not bring up a difficult conversation, and somebody who is going to overpower the conversation, the conflict, or they're going to make it personal. And all 3 are not advisable. And what's important here is that it's a skill. It's just something that we were not taught well as kids.
Okay.
It's something that our parents, because they were also wooden, they were not modeling to us, right? And it's not something that we teach in our organizations. And it's something that absolutely, it's a communication and it's self-regulation. 2 different skills. So there is a lot of work on the body. And it's something that's very important. That is how I differentiate, how I differ from other conflict experts. I bring body with the whole communication piece. It's not just follow the script, say the right words, and it's going to be okay. No, it's how do you feel? Do you recognize that you are tense right now? Because you can be speaking the right words, but you can be so defensive in your body language, and you can feel so tight. You're like, if you're like this and you're saying something that's non-violent, but your body is saying, I am ready to attack because I feel like you're attacking me, it's not going to work. And so it's a lot of regulation, self-regulation, mindfulness practice, and then having the right scripts and the right approach. And then I think what's the most important is remembering that we are all on the same team.
Yeah.
When we are having a conflict, it's not me against you, it's us together against the problem, right? And so it's remembering that it's sitting next to each other and not in front of each other. So again, bring body into it. How do we have those difficult conversations? How do we behave, how we feel, and how we address it?
Yeah, something you just said struck me because you said it's one of the ways that we show love. And I will be the first to say, when I was younger, I was such a hothead. I had a temper, that and I don't want to do that anymore. A, because I felt like I blew up relationships because of it. But then on the other side, I think I swing too far that I just don't say anything and I just cram it down. And so I know that's not productive. And so I guess that's why I'm so interested in what you're saying. You mentioned the body language and the communication. Are there any other skills that, like, right off the top, that I could get better at, that I can learn?
I think there is a skill that you're already good at as an interviewer. I can see it's listening. Listening skill is actually so underrated. And it's something that I have the whole listening workshop that I bring to the companies. And it's really interesting that people who think they're good listeners actually need it the most.
I believe that.
And, right? So it's what I teach is, can you listen ready to change your mind?
Yes.
Because if you come into conversation already certain that you're right, you're not listening. You actually do not have, I do not have permission to be there if I already am certain about my point of view.
Yeah.
This is not a conversation anymore. Then we are kind of like two radios talking to each other, right? We are not really listening. And so it's great to practice that on something that is not very high stake. So I do it with a lot of games, with a lot of role play, to just be able to let somebody else finish their sentence. Even that is something that's, especially for an American culture, it's very difficult to do because we are taught to go fast and to speak over other people because that shows excitement and commitment to the topic. But then if I'm speaking over you and I didn't let you finish your sentence, I actually do not know what you wanted to say at the end. And I did that for a year. I gave myself a test for 1 year. I was like, okay, I'm going to just try that. I'm going to let everybody finish their sentences around me, my kids, my husband, my parents, my employees, partners, all that. And you know what I found out? And I would be writing down. First of all, I needed, like, I have like these beads that I carry with me that I need to calm down. Or like a stress ball, something.
Yeah.
Or like I
Yeah.
have a notepad that I start writing things down because the pressure of wanting to say, the excitement of, I want to share with you, right? So what I found out, that if I let other people finish their sentences, they're going to say at the end something that completely unexpected for me. But we so often cut people off, we assume we already understood what they are going to say. And because people want to connect most of the time and they want to be nice and they don't want to say, stop, I didn't finish yet, right? Like that's rare. People are just, oh yeah, okay, that was the word. Like if I'm looking for a word and I can't find one and you're like helping me, let me give that pause, right?
Yeah, I struggle with that. I'll be the first to say it. I have a pretty excitable personality, but I do think that when people do it to me, it pisses me off, and so it makes sense that I shouldn't be doing it to them, right? Like it of course makes sense. Okay, this is great, Anna. So final question for you. So let's say that you are a leader listening to this now and you're like, I know I need to have a conversation that I've been avoiding. What's like the first step to actually having it and hopefully making it productive?
Before having it, it's asking yourself what's real. What is being a scientist in the situation? What is actually happening? How am I contributing to the conflict? What is my part of it? And what is actually going on with them? So I want to know two things about each person I'm talking to. I want to know their values and their fears. I want to know what they care about more than anything else in life. Is it injustice? Is it self-validation? Is it what is it? What are they after? Like what is it? What are they standing for in this life? And then what
Yeah.
are they afraid of in their role, in today's environment? What are they afraid of? And then I address that. And then what about me? What do I care about here? And what am I afraid to lose? Like what are my fears here? And then when I go in, I make sure it's clear that I'm not attacking anyone here. Right? It's not an attack. I want to share my side of it. And I want to hear you out. Ideally, I want to hear you out before I speak. And I let you finish completely. And I want to understand you, not just your point of view, but what's behind, and keep digging. Why do you care? What are you afraid of that's going to happen? And then this is something that I've learned actually from couple therapy. And it's going to sound, well, I'll just say it because whatever, however it's going to sound, I use it every day. So in couple therapy, it was attachment-based therapy. They taught me that before you start a difficult conversation with your partner, you say, I love you and we're going to be okay. Then you have your conversation. And then at the end, you say, I love you and we're going to be okay. And that's something for your romantic relationships, but that of right where the word love is pronounced. But then for business relationships, we just switch love for I care about our relationship, or I care about this project, but this really matters to me, and we are going to be okay. And then diving in.
That's powerful. I like that a lot. So, Anna, this has been really wonderful, and like I'm going to go back and listen to this because I think this is one of those things that I need to hear over and over again. Um, where can people find more information about you?
Well, I wrote a book called Love in Conflict.
Perfect.
And I'm on my website annalecat.com, and I have a TEDx talk and TikTok and YouTube channel, LinkedIn, and all that. And I want to share this because I would like there to be fewer conflicts in the world. I'm Ukrainian. There's a war in my country, and I would love there for people to fight kindly. And I think there's a way. I know there's a way, and so it's just some skills that we can all practice.
This is great stuff. I really appreciate it. So I assume the book, you can find it in like Amazon and all the places that books are sold, right? All right, cool. Well, if you are listening, I'd encourage you to go check it out. This has been a really great conversation. We will have to do it again sometime. Okay, Anna?
I would love that.
Okay, cool. Well, that's going to wrap up this edition of Delivering Marketing Joy. We'll see you next time. Delivering Marketing Joy.